Hello folks, this is MrRhymeasaurus here and welcome to Better Your Building, and today we are going to be going over the roofs. Now I'm starting off in single player to show off something, which is that of the roof that hits at 2 points. I'm using an NPC village roof because they do a really good job of this actually. Now what you do to make this roof a successful roof is you're doing stairs. They're going to collide at a certain point and you're going to get these points here. Now there'll be points that you can't actually build up on and it will leave weird corners, and you can see here they've remedied that by putting half blocks in, and what it's going to do is just make a more cohesive point of connection. Also, this roof, you're going to have the roof that's connecting in really just overlap onto the other roof, so you can see it comes up as such and builds up over, and it gives a really nice effect. Now this is good for if you're building a house that is in squares and such. One thing I would disagree with is their use of having it overhang by one and then putting cobblestone, but we'll go over that with the world where I actually built stuff in. Now going over to my world where I'm going to be showing you some more stuff about roofs, because that was what people voted for. I will give you a couple more things. In terms of roofs, quick recall, as it may be, to not stairs but roads. If you remember, these are the blocks you can really use for stairs and roads and stuff. It's the same here. You only are going to want to use half blocks or stairs, and you're going to want to use the same contrasting rules from roads. Just a quick look at all of those as to what I did, so you can look through those. I only used a few different things here because otherwise I would have to build 100 buildings and that was going to take hours to do, so instead I just built the different roof types that I would go with. I'm going to start off with the basic for a square roof with stairs. You're going to build it up. Now where I diverge off is they build it, if you're using stairs, what they did is they built the roof to be the same color. I would disagree with that. Have it highlight on the inside a different color, and because stairs are going to give you a steep roof, it gives you the option to put a room in this top area. Regardless to if you put a room up there or not, I would put a window there because it's going to break the pattern and give a nicer look to the roof. You may even decide, and this is off of personal preference alone, to do something like, give me a second to get in here, like this, though I personally would not choose to do so. The next one is if you are using half steps. Now I would not recommend a half step traditional roof. You can see it falls flat. It doesn't necessarily work out. If you were to build another building into it, it might work out a little bit better, but for this case it ends up falling blandly to the side. The front will look okay, but again, when you walk around to the side it won't look as good. If you are using half blocks, I use the I would also say half blocks should only be used for rounded houses, not square houses. With rounded houses, it lets you do this, where you, from all points, will want it to have an overhang of 1. You'll see that all around. Then you're going to want to build up, and I would only build up to about 3 points up. Now, what using half blocks lets you do is it lets you put accents in. So you can see here, you can just go traditionally up with the same color, or you can choose something that's just a slight break in the pattern. That's going to add some depth to your roof and make it look a little bit nicer. Here you can see I did it with different wood tones, and it adds a nice little look to your roof, makes it look a little bit nicer. Now going over building near things, I'm going to go back to a throwback to the tree houses, where if you're building up against a wall or something, it might be to your benefit to build the roof right into the item there. You can see here I build it into the wall, and it makes it look nicer, the roof that is, as opposed to just trying to roof the entire thing. I have it connecting. So if you're building an outcropping off of, say, a mountain, it might be to your benefit, and you might hear a sink in the room. it might be to your benefit to have your roof connect in. Now I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm just going to make a quick modification to 2 of the buildings, and we'll be back then. Okay, and we're back, and I made the modifications to these 2 buildings, which is you may decide not to build all the way up to a point. Now with stairs, I would suggest most of the time building up to the point, but here you can see an effective use of not building up to the point, where then I accent to either side of a window and build in a window again for another, what presumably would be a second floor to this building. What this flat roof does is it's just going to give a slightly more traditional look to a house. I don't know, not necessarily traditional, but it will give a different look to a house. And in some cases, if I got a little bit quieter, it's because I moved a little bit. In some cases with houses, the roof will go up too high if you're using stairs, if it's too big a house, and you may want to cut it off as such. You'll be able to feel that out when you're building your house. You may go, wow, this roof for some reason is 20 blocks high and that looks silly. And in that case, this roof is the roof for you. With half blocks, I would suggest cutting it off and not building all the way up to the top. With them, depending on how big it is, if it's about this size, where you can see it's not that huge a roof, cutting it off one above is a solid option. One before it gets to the peak is a solid option, though again you could always go one shorter and that would probably work out as well. It's the half block logic I use is that you don't want to get to a peak. You can see that here with my circular house of weirdness, that I don't go to a peak on it. And if you've seen any of my buildings in the past, you'll see that I tend not to do peaks of a building. If I can find it. No, never mind, that's not there anymore. But I used to have access to a server where I built a house and it was really nice, and I could have showed the roof in that. But that is gone now. I apologize for that. There's a picture of the house on my Facebook which you could access. And if I remember in editing, I'll slap it on at the end of this. But I will see you guys later. I hope that this helps you out a little bit with building roofs for your houses. If there's some specific thing about roofing that you guys really need to know about, feel free to leave it in the comments below and I will address it. I just want to give you guys a basic premise to work with so that you can go off and, for me, I don't like to go super complex in these videos unless people ask for something specific. Because I want you guys to be able to explore it and try and figure out what works best for you with roofs. Again, I'm going to go over to the contrast thing so you can end on that and look at it, which is that these are things that you can use to contrast each other and whatnot, to mix and match in with building your roof up. But I will see you guys next time. For now, have a wonderful day or night or whatever you're watching this really. And I'll be back tomorrow with more video content of some sort. I'll see you then for that. And peace out, folks. Have a wonderful something or another. Ha, ha, ha.